Okay, let's see what we can do with this one. Shit, someone running barefoot out there. Fuck, I don't understand how they can do that. Incidentally, speaking of going barefoot, I used to do it all the time when I was a kid, much to my parents' horror at times. And yeah, I used to get a lot of glass slithers in my feet. But I still loved going barefoot. I never had to worry about getting dirty feet or chalky or having dirty dirt between my toes and feeling chalky. I even used to go to bed with dirty feet somehow. And basically it never worried me. But now I can't do it. I haven't got the desire to run around in bare feet. It's just not my thing. But it used to be like freedom to me, a sense of freedom. I really enjoyed going barefoot. Let's see what we've got. We've got here I think it's a wine bag, gift bag for wine, and we're interested in this top section. But yeah, I used to go barefoot, and it was really something I just loved to do. And basically, yeah, my parents were always trying to get me to put my shoes on, or at least when going to shopping centres. I really loved going barefoot in shopping centres, and especially McDonald's. In wintertime, I noticed that the floor at the McDonald's was warm. I think they have that underfloor heating. I don't know if it was electric or hydronic, which uses water. I don't know, but it was nice and warm, and I used to love going barefoot on the floor at McDonald's. So there, some memories, folks. Now that looks interesting. It looks a bit dark. I think, yeah, we just got it to the edge. But yeah, there's a lot of memories, folks, from my childhood days. I try not to. I used to live in the past, folks. I forgot to set this fucker up. But basically, I think I did. Yeah, I got it all setting. I didn't even touch the settings. That's probably why it looks a bit muddy. But basically, maybe I do overprogram or overdo this. But basically, how should I put it? Used to try and go barefoot as much as I could. I mean, my parents didn't always tell me not to go barefoot. It was mainly in shopping centres that my parents didn't want me to. But around the house they were pretty cool about it. I even was dared to, speaking of bare feet, I was even dared to photocopy my foot in a public library back in 2000. Oh, actually, I still got that's the edge at the top. So basically, I had a person, one of my neighbours who I used to hang out with, and she dared me to photocopy my foot in a public library. It was Forestville Library. So the librarians I managed to give the librarians the slip. Somehow I know, did I do that right? Somehow I managed to avoid getting in trouble, and I did it again, I think once or twice afterwards. It was really scary at first. This is the old Forestville Library. I don't have any video or photo footage of this library and what I got up to. I don't know why you got that horrible bit. But basically I was dared and I photocopied my foot, and it was funny. Wondering why it's not sitting up against the edge of the glass. I'm going to just have a look at it. It might be the edge of the design. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But basically, she dared me and I managed not to get in trouble, strangely enough. But I could have gotten into some deep shit. I do wonder if the librarians would know about this. I was thinking in there that's going to be the centre, but we got that ugly fucking line on this. Fuck. I really hate that ugly edge. I'm going to overlap. Basically, I'm just going to overlap it a little bit. But basically, I managed to avoid getting busted. I wonder what the punishment would have been if I was caught. So they were funny days. I was only 14, I think, when I did that. When that stunt was carried out, I was 14 years old. Now that looks better. That's a lot better without that edge. But basically without this edge, because we want to make that the centre of the job, I am thinking. But basically I could have got myself into some deep shit, and I would have been the fall guy, because I was the one that did it. She just dared me to do it. And the librarians probably would have said, no, you shouldn't have, you should have told me. You don't listen to someone, you don't do it just because someone tells you to or dares you to. Well, she didn't actually use the word dare, but she basically, in effect, that's what she did. Dared me to do it. But those were some pretty funny days in my formative years as a photocopier artist. Those were the days. Fuck this user interface. See what I mean, folks? This is something I hate about the industry that puts these equipments together, is they don't know how to make a good job. At least in the old days, you had a new machine. Every time a new machine came up, there was always improvements and changes that were interesting and exciting. Now it all stays the same. They use legacy software and churn it over and churn it over. Yes, they changed the layout. Sure, they've turned this into a flick and drag instead of but that's not good enough. There's nothing new and exciting. And I really find that boring, folks. And that the people that run the industry are total fucktards. Can't make anything. Dickheads. See how we go. But yeah, those were the days, but I don't want to go back in time. I had to suffer a lot soon after those days, as relatively speaking, blissful days, but there were traumas then as well. Anyway, that looks a lot better. Wondering if I could do a switcheroo, because this area here looks really nice. I like that shape, the shape's there. So I'm going to just do a switcheroo. But basically I'm missing my loved one. I don't know whether I've mentioned it in this video, but I'm really missing a loved partner. His name's Luigi, and I'm trying to get this videos of my photocopier exploits on television to find him, and then I'll really have happy days ahead. Anyway, that looks really quite interesting. I think now we'll just call this demo quits.